Hello everyone, David here. And this is my new camera rig. It supports 4K video with a nice shallow depth of field, professional quality audio, has a nice big monitor, and even has a teleprompter built right into it. And best of all, it adds less than 300 grams to my travel bag. So how am I doing this? Well, like this. It's a phone. And I'm not going to try to convince you that a phone is now superior to a full-frame camera. Far from it. But it is really convenient, and the quality has improved a lot. I want to go over a few direct comparisons between what it's like now to film something on a phone compared to a camera. But first, let me show you how I built this thing, because that's kind of interesting. It starts with this mini tripod and MagSafe puck. The tripod has collapsible legs, so I can either hold it if I'm walking and talking, or set it down and it extends to give me a bit of extra height if I need it. The bonus is that I do feel like I can use it while extended, because the phone doesn't make it too top-heavy. The MagSafe puck was quite hard to find actually, because not only does it have a tripod screw for mounting this way, it also has a USB-C port for charging, so I can keep my phone in the rig and plug it in if I'm recording and need to stay charged. Next, I shopped around for a ball head with an extra cold shoe for mounting an accessory. There are a few available, and I found this one for about £15 from eBay. Once that's in place, I can add audio. And I've gone with the Rode Wireless Pro, which is a top-of-the-line prosumer product, but you could definitely get something cheaper like the Rode ME. I added a right-angled USB-C adapter at the bottom so it doesn't get in the way of the adjustment knobs. And then the beauty of this setup is that when I want to record, I snap my phone onto the rig, plug in audio, and I'm good to go. No fiddling with clamps, which I find a bit fiddly. But of course that's an alternative if you don't want to use MagSafe. Okay, so now I've put this together, let's see how it compares to my camera rig, which is based on a Sony a7C, an excellent full-frame camera. And I'll compare them in these categories: weight, picture quality, sound quality, and convenience. Let's go. First of all, weight. I've tried very hard to make my camera as light as possible, with a compact body and a very light lens, but the whole thing still weighs in at over 800 grams. And a load more if I start bringing extra lenses with me. For example, my Tamron 28-200, a super versatile lens, adds another 575 grams. If I want to bring my Sony 50mm G Master with me, that's 780 grams just on its own. But I wouldn't bring that for vlogging. Basically, if I'm taking my camera and lenses, I need a bag just for that. The phone rig without the phone is about 275 grams, and I say without the phone because the phone will be in my pocket or in my hands most of the time. But when it is mounted, it weighs in at 540 grams, and that's what I'd actually be holding. That's not nothing, but it's quite comfortable to hold for extended periods of time. Okay, I suppose in both of these cases, I'd also want to take a wireless transmitter with me. I wouldn't necessarily be wearing it all the time. And in fact, I'd probably just take the whole Rode charging case so I don't have to worry about audio devices running out of power mid-shoot. Next, picture quality. And here is where the camera stomps all over even the latest flagship phone. The level of detail you get with a full-frame camera and a decent lens is astonishing. Every one of your pixels at 4K can be put to good use with stunning natural bokeh, impressive autofocus, auto exposure, and white balance. On the phone, you're getting much more of a compromise. The resolution of the sensors is really impressive, especially the 200 megapixel main camera on the S24 Ultra. But sometimes you're getting pixel binning rather than downsampling, and the low light performance is generally poor because the sensor is so small. Unlike a photograph where if you hold the phone steady, it can compensate for low light with a very long exposure and computational photography. A video will be very noisy, and there's not much you can do about that in processing. So if I'm filming in anything other than daylight, I have to use a light. I mean, I kind of need one for the camera anyway, because it looks better with lighting than without, but it's really necessary with a phone. I use the Aperture F1, which is a few years old now, but quite capable. It has adjustable intensity and color temperature, several tripod mounting holes, and can be powered either with batteries or via its USB-C port. So when set up here, I just plug it in by USB-C, and then it's ready to go at any time. I'd love to upgrade to the Aperture MC Pro, which looks even more capable with smartphone connectivity, magnetic mounts, and is even more compact. So if you're in the market for a light, I suggest you look at that one, if you can afford it. You might think that with a phone, you're stuck with that kind of fixed focus look, with no background separation, and this was true for a long time. But more recent models have come out with a portrait video or cinematic mode, which artificially blurs the background, and it's quite good. Really not perfect, sometimes it blurs the wrong things and can cause artifacts. But when it works, the effect is rather nice. It gives the impression of a video with much higher production values. And on the S24 Ultra, I can shoot portrait video with the front-facing camera in 4K. So in this category, cameras clearly win out. But what you're getting from a phone is still impressive. Next, audio quality. And this is less of a battle because it's basically a dead heat. The audio quality of onboard microphones on a camera or a phone is okay, but you'll want much better than that for your YouTube videos. I recommend you get a wireless mic from Rode or DJI since they're so convenient, or a good shotgun mic. Shotgun is good if you're interviewing people close up in a noisy environment and you don't want to have to wire them up with a lav mic in a hurry. The Rode Wireless Pro system is particularly good, although pricey. It supports 2 transmitters, so you and an interviewee can have your own mics. It supports 32-bit float in case you make a mistake with audio levels, and supports onboard recording, so you don't really even need the receiver. It's convenient to use it so your audio and video is together in the same file, but you could download the sound files afterwards if you don't mind syncing them up manually. I've set mine to just always record when the transmitters are on, so that I know for sure I will always have a backup. I don't intend to go around digging up the files and syncing them once I'm done, but it's nice to know I have the option. I think audio quality is actually more important than video quality. You could watch a YouTube video with a dodgy picture, but if it's horrible to listen to, you'll just turn it off straight away. Finally, convenience. And this is where it gets a bit more complicated because there are a few factors at play here. If we think about setup, with both devices it's pretty much take it out, put it in the right mode, hook up audio, and hit record. Quite convenient with both. I can charge both while filming if I need to. The monitor is effectively bigger with the phone, as it's the size of a phone screen and a great display. It's a bit smaller on my camera. If I want to zoom with my camera, I'd have to change lens or use my bulkier zoom lens. On the phone, I can switch between the camera zoom lenses fairly easily, and I have a great reach going from 0.6 times, about the equivalent of 13mm on full frame, to 20 times, about the equivalent of 460mm, although there is some digital zoom going on there. For comparison, my most versatile lens goes from 28mm to 200mm, but you can eke out a bit more with Sony's clear image zoom, giving you a pretty decent 1.5 times extra by cropping in on the sensor. If I need stabilisation, I have a bit built in on the camera, but to make it smoother, I'd have to run it through Catalyst Browse. It's a bit time consuming and requires re-encoding the video. Newer models like the A7C II have better stabilisation built in. On the phone, it also has good stabilisation built in, and I don't see myself needing to stabilise it anymore at edit time. Reading from an Autocue is an interesting one. On the camera, I have this nifty one-way mirror, but it does require an extra tripod to balance it in front of the camera, and then to place my phone inside it, invert the screen, and poke at it rather awkwardly to get it started. And in my setup here, the monitor is now on the wrong side and I can't see it very easily, so it has actually become a bit of a pain to use. On the phone, I use an app called Nano Teleprompter, which can show a floating window while recording. This is awesome because I can size and place the window near the front-facing cam, and it's very easy to read without any other gear required. It means I could use a teleprompter while out and about if I wanted. Then we get on to moving the files around and editing. Copying off the devices is about equally easy, but it's easier to preview the videos on my phone. I can see them better on the larger screen and scrub through them. So if I want to delete some before copying to my computer, I can do that. They also go into a recycle bin, in case I delete the wrong one. And then there's editing, which is not possible on this camera, but there are some apps on Android which would let me do it. Now, I am much happier in DaVinci Resolve on Windows, with all my nice transitions and titles, thank you very much, but if I was really pushed, I could use LumaFusion to make a video. Heck, I could even plug the phone into a monitor, hook up a mouse and keyboard, and edit on a big screen if I wanted to. I have made a video using Dex, and it went okay, feel free to check it out. So, where am I going with all this? I think what I'm trying to say is that you will get better results with a camera. But in many ways, the phone is more fun to use. When it comes to YouTube, we're really all trying to make the best content, and the tool that lets you do that the best is the best tool to use. If I'm making videos about technology or guitars, I'll use whatever lets me get the best shot with the least effort. I shot my last video on a phone, and I think it looks pretty good. I mean, what do you think? Please leave me some comments below this video. It's like the expression, the last 10% requires 90% of the effort. In this case, your phone is that first 90% of the work. Look, if you're running a photography or video channel, or one about filming weddings or lighting, I think you have to go for the best camera setup you can, because that's kind of your shtick. And I will absolutely still use my camera a lot, especially for dreamy dance videos, where I want ultra soft bokeh and the best low-light performance. But if I'm talking about my Nintendo 3DS or getting a close-up shot of some guitar effects pedal, it's way easier to whack the phone in a tripod at a jaunty angle and get the shot that way. And if I'm going somewhere, and I think I might make a video, I'll put this tiny tripod in my bag, because at 300 grams or so, it's super easy, barely an inconvenience. That's my video. I realise it's a little controversial, so please leave your comments below and I'll read the nice ones. What do you think? Have I gone mad? Or am I right to embrace the smartphone future of vlogging? I'm going to use my phone more in future videos, and I suppose we'll see if it works out. Well, if this video was informative, or at least entertaining in some way, leave me a like, and you can help me out by subscribing to my channel too. See you next time.